Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be going through spot trading on Bingx. Now there's a few things you need to know about spot trading before you do get involved with it. A few strategies I'm going to walk you through here today, so potentially you can make some money out of that. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, so spot trading is basically trading assets as they are without leverage with a lot lower risk. Okay, so if you get in a spot trade on Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up 20%, you make 20%. If it goes down 20%, you lose 20%, right? So there's no extra risk, there's no liquidations, all right? There's nothing like that. It's a lot less on the gambling side and more on the strategic investment side when it comes to trading anyway, right? So what we will say is this is the screen, exactly the same as futures as we talked about in the last video. If you want to know more about futures, be sure to check that video out. But what we will say here, guys, is you've just got to hit this spot tab at the top here, right? And with that, what you can do is find an asset. Okay, so we're going to hit this at the top here and we're going to find the correct ticker that we want. If you've already got a ticker in mind, then you will more than likely find it here because Bingx do supply a lot of different tickers. For example, Hamster Combat was a recent one that came out, right, and they have already listed it here. So fantastic stuff there. These guys are really on top of the game when it comes to listing new coins. So definitely check this out and definitely use the link in the description when it comes to that, right? But if you are just looking for a new coin to invest in, what you can do here is, first of all, check out the percentage gains or losses in the last 24 hours. And it's not as simple as just saying, okay, this coin's up 3%, I'm going to buy it. No, what you need to be doing here is actually looking at those percentages differently, because some coins will move a lot more than others. Typically, the whole crypto market will move together, but other coins will be a lot more volatile. And we can see here with CAT, okay, CAT is super volatile and has massive wicks towards the downside. But at the same time, if we do get upside pumps, you're going to get higher percentages, right? So there will be coins that move with higher percentages and they will be a bit more risky, but there are coins that don't move at higher percentages that will be a lot lower risk. Okay, so Bitcoin, for example, will move a lot less compared to CAT or compared to any meme coin that you see out there, right? So that's really fantastic. And what you want to see here is coins that are in that top 10 list, but they're doing well compared to the rest of the market over time. Okay, so you want to be looking at coins on the daily or something like this. You can see here, Sui here has absolutely banged it. Every time that the rest of the market has dumped, Sui has done pretty well considering, right? So it's continued to go up despite the rest of the market. Yes, it's dumping with the rest of the market, but it has continued to go up slowly. And just looking for coins like that and really analyzing all of the coins on this sheet can really help you when it comes to your investment strategies in spot. But let's talk about investment strategies here, guys, because there are a few that I want to really dive into here for you guys, so it's a lot easier for you to trade. Obviously, this isn't financial advice, and these strategies can change all the time and come in and out of validity, but one that I like to use here, guys, is very simple. Okay, and what we'd be looking for is for the 7 SMA. So let's just change this to the 7 SMA. Boom. Okay, and what we would be doing is going on the hourly here, and this is just one of my favorite strategies. When we hit this 7 SMA, there are usually pretty decent scalps that you can get towards the upside. So you can see here, so on this 7 SMA, if we do highlight our tool here, right, so this is price range tool. This is how you kind of identify how much of a percentage these things are moving. Okay, when we are hitting the 7 SMA, guys, we do often get pretty big bounces over time here. So we can see 1.6% up there. Okay, we had what is it, 0.5% there when we hit these moving averages, and it's really important when you are looking at moving averages to actually acknowledge that. If you don't know what a moving average is, it's basically just the average price over a set amount of time. So with the 7 SMA here, okay, the 7 SMA will be the average price of Bitcoin in this case over the last 7 candles, and that average price would be there. Therefore, we'd be looking at that for a potential pump off of it. Okay, very simple strategy, but one of my favorites out there. Doesn't work all of the time, but if you are in a trend, it works fantastically. Okay, the next strategy I want to talk about here for spot is actually something that's very simple, but very effective as well. And that strategy is just using trend lines. Okay, so trend lines here are basically lines that come down, and every time we hit a high on an asset, you can actually draw that trend line and use that as a resistance or if it is on the lower side, you could use it as a support. And as long as we are in between those trend lines, then what you can do here is actually use those as potential areas to be finding trades. So if we had seen all of these trend lines come through, and then we saw Bitcoin pump up and test this trend line, as soon as we break structure by drawing another trend line here, right, as soon as we break down below this trend line, then there is a potential trade there that you can get that can be very, very profitable. Okay, if we're going to look at this example just for the sake of it, that would have been a 5% trade, and that would be beautiful on spot. Okay, but towards the upside with spot, it's going to be a bit different. Of course, we want to be breaking this trend line next, right? So exactly the same. If we were to break over this trend line, we would be looking for a trade up to kind of test the next levels. And that's the next thing I want to talk to you guys about here as well. So we've talked about moving averages, we've talked about trend lines, but there is another thing here which is similar to trend lines, but it is just levels. So what are the important levels of Bitcoin that we have hit consistently and bounced off of? We can use this one as an important level. We can also use this one as an important level as well. And we can see here that these would be the areas we want to get above off to break out of what's called the range, right? So this is the range. What we want to do is break out of that range to initiate a new trend, okay? And with that, this would be a bit more of an investment strategy. And this is why I'm telling you guys this on spot. So if Bitcoin, for example, were to get over 75K, we would be out of the range, we would be over certain levels. And once we're above this level, it then becomes support, right? So if we get above the level, something like this, okay, then it would become support. And then we can actually buy from that level in the future, okay? And that's when we can really start a new trend coming through. But it's exactly the same towards the downside as well. If we were looking for shorts and we were to break below this level, then yeah, we could probably find shorts down to the next level, which would be roughly around 40K. Obviously, you can take profit along the way, all of that good stuff, and that's exactly what we're going to jump into next here, guys, right? So if we were going to take a trade here, let's say we did break out above a level, all right, and we wanted to set a buy, then we would type in how much we want, let's say $1,000 or whatever, right? And then from that point, you can just buy BTC from there. You can also set a take profit and a stop loss on that as well. So we've got this market buy here, and then you've got take profit, stop loss coming through. This will appear on your charts, and yeah, you would just set that up wherever your take profit would be, okay? And then yes, you can bang that in pretty easily. So as soon as price hits a certain level, you can initiate a market order at that price, okay? Or you can set a limit order when we hit that price as well, all right? If you're a newer trader, you don't need to know too much about this, but for this example, let's say we wanted to find a limit order. Let's say Bitcoin bangs it up here, okay? We would trigger that order at this price, and then the limit order would be under that price, and then we would basically look for that retest to buy the dip with a limit order, right? Alternatively, if we're in a breakout scenario and we just get above a high and we want to get in when we get above that high, then we would set a market order once we get above that price. So let's say 75K, trigger price 75K. As soon as we hit that, set a market order, and then we would hold that for an extended period of time in which we would, yeah, ideally make money from that breakout, okay? So, fantastic stuff. As we said in the futures video, everything here is very, very simple, okay? TA, super simple, exactly the same as TradingView, okay? So you got your trend lines here, everything on the left-hand side here, okay? If you wanted to use some other ones like Fibonacci retracement, all of this is very easy to use and right just completely on the left hand side for you to use with a lot of ease here, guys, okay? So that's fantastic. And then what we will say from that point is yeah, this exchange, the UI for this exchange, the user interface, very, very clean. I do like it a lot, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. This dark theme is fantastic, and this dark theme is really, really cool. So yeah, definitely check this out in the description, and you will get that 20% off your fees as well, which is super important when it comes to making money, because then you are making more money if you're paying less on fees, of course, right? So that is going to be it for this video. Have a fantastic day, and be sure to leave a like on it, be sure to subscribe, be sure to check out the link in the description to use this exchange, and you will get lots of benefits as well from signing up and depositing on this exchange too. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. I will see you in the next one, and yeah, have a fantastic day, guys. Cheers.